Good website content will depend from website to website because it depends on your audience and what they need to see and read to be able to make them get to that level that they're happy to make that next step and either make a purchase or inquire about your services. So really getting to know your audience is the key here, and making sure they're engaged and interested in what you've got to say. And that's important in both your website copy, so the text that's on your website, and also the images and good quality, high professional visuals, whether that's images or film, whatever it happens to be, making sure that that's all very good quality. A great copywriter is one who will be able to sell your product or service without the audience even knowing that they're being sold to. Now, they can do this, or you can do this, by selling the benefits of the product as opposed to the product itself. Also, you can use testimonials and feedback from previous clients or customers to provide a feeling of trust on that, to let them know that it's a product or a service that they're able to trust. So keywords are hugely important for search engine optimization. If you don't include those keywords in your content, in your copy text, then search engines like Google just simply won't know how to rank you on their search engine results. And if you're not ranked on those search engine results, then people aren't going to be able to find you. And that's really important for your business. It's also really important to make sure that the keywords that you're including are the ones that are relevant to your audience. So not just what your business is about, but making sure that you're looking specifically at what your target audience is actually searching for on Google. And you can use tools like, for example, Google AdWords, Keyword Planner, or there are various other ones out there to make sure that your keywords are linked to those ones that are actually being searched for. CTAs are what's known as a call to action, and these are the little buttons that you'll see dotted throughout pretty much all websites that often say buy now or sign up now, join now, things like that. And they're really, really important to make sure that your online customer, your audience, your visitor can be guided through the website in the way that you know they need to be guided to allow them to get that next step of information that they really need. So there are various ways that you can use these, and sometimes the really direct approach of buy now is actually really useful and really effective. However, sometimes you can have a little bit of a play around with this, and it can engage your audience a little bit more. So, for example, sound too good to be true, find out more. Things like that. And if you'd like to see a little bit more of these kind of more, I wouldn't say more interesting, but slightly different call to actions in action, you can take a look at my website, and you'll be able to see how those are used. Now, it's really important to keep your content updated because your audience will want to be able to see new things each time they come onto your website. Otherwise, they'll get bored. And it's difficult to say how often. I would always recommend as often as you can, but a good rule of thumb is at least once a month. And a good way to do that is to have, say, for example, a set of blog posts that you update on a regular basis. And that then just keeps that content fresh and keeps people coming back for more. So in terms of the tools that I use for imagery, I like to use the Adobe Suite, but I completely understand that it can be quite complex for beginners to get to grips with. So I often recommend tools like Canva, which provides you with a really easy to use platform to edit your imagery. But also things like remove.bg, which is a background remover, which can make your product images look a lot more professional just without that background. Then in terms of the actual copywriting side of things, I'm not going to lie, there is no tool out there that will be able to replicate or replace the abilities of a copywriter to be able to help your audience and help you to get that copy that will get your audience engaged. However, if budgets really are too tight, then there are software options like Jasper.io, I think it is, which is an artificial intelligence copywriting tool. And it won't write everything for you, but it can give you a good framework to base your writing on. If you are looking for copywriting, the first thing I would do is get in touch with PB&J Web Design. Simple. But no, in all seriousness, the first thing I would do would be to speak to your web designer or web developer, because if they have a relationship with a copywriter already, it will provide you with most likely far better results if they are used to working together, and you'll have that good consistency between design and content, and that will come together really nicely. But if your web designer or developer doesn't have a copywriter lined up, then it can be quite good to ask for recommendations from those around you, whether it's asking the people here at Unlocking Potential, or whether it's any other kind of peer networks that you're part of. Ask around. There's most likely to be someone who can point you in the right direction.